Alright, so this is part 2 of my presentation. Uh, so far, it seems like it works, uh, which is good, but it seems like it's really eating up my CPU here on my laptop and really making my computer work. So you can really hear the laptop fan working now. Hopefully, that's not much of a bother for some people. But okay, let's continue on. Okay, so such such a projects that they're working on has been the Open Access to Knowledge movement, also known as A2K, ACTA, USTR, and TPP um, movements, which you guys are probably more aware of. Microsoft and the Gates Foundation and the sort of corruption going on there. Um, Participation in WTO and WIPO as an NGO. Basically, they're just there to participate in the meetings and they have a say of what goes on at those meetings and sort of things that they conclude to. Um, so, so this access to knowledge movement, uh, basically they want fairness to the access, and they've been tackling issues such as copyright limitation exceptions and user rights, and they have sent proposals for the Treaty of Access to Knowledge, which they have sent a draft on May 10th, 2005, and they've also came up with a lot of research on copyright-related barriers to overcome reading disabilities. This is very helpful for the disability movement for internet access, and I think that is a good emphasis in the sort of work that's unique in the way of bettering this a better future for the internet and making sure that computers are more prone to be a more universalized product that can be used by all. And lastly, kind of support the whole disability access thing. They've written an amicus brief in the Sony Corps of America versus Universal City Studios. And its needs for having copies of such material for disabled, so that there's a copy for those meaning special access, such as audio files of a book, instead of having to be read to them because they're blind or something, other things like that. So in the ACTA, USTR, and TTP thing, they heavily looked at the sort of information and review of the sort of implications that the ACTA legislation would have really been acted upon. It really went through, and sort of ways to really make sure that the public's interest is well aware of, and ways to sort of protect yourself in case this actually happened. And with this Freedom of Information Act, um, they frequently request information about such acts and the sort of review of information of the mini minutes and such. of these meetings that talked about such acts as a way to publish these articles that could cite truth to such acts that will change how we view internet today, or well, internet tomorrow. So with their advocacy with the Microsoft Gate Foundation, this is related to the fact that Microsoft enjoys monopoly power. Microsoft has greater than 90% of global market shares for the operating system, and therefore also extends into software, makes it very difficult for accessibility to certain sort of uh, functions that you may want on your personal computers. Unlike, say, the Linux, where it may have an open source operating system which allows various software from different operating systems to work on this one system. Um, we're talking about specific software for a specific um, operating system, such as the Windows, that can only work on Windows computers. And in this sense, it had made it difficult to say, well, Windows can do everything that a Mac does and better. No, it doesn't work that way. It kind of gives separate kind of functions for each that one operating system may do better than the other. Has made it difficult to really have a universalized path there. So current issues that's been going on is they objected to the ban of use of social media and proposed that WIPOs permit the use of social media under the Chatham rules, which is basically promoting intellectual property rights and serving the public interests. And it seeks to slow or stop work on treaties that could restrict severely access to knowledge. These include broadcast treaty, which could give broadcasters rights over the recording, retransmission, and reproduction of their broadcast signals for 50 years, separate from the rights of the content. Basically, they want to ensure that developmental countries have adequate and affordable access to knowledge and technology, and also the United States knows takedown procedures under the DMCA. They have heavily criticized and should okay, that's kind of a typo. Basically, that the DMCA should not be used in other countries, and that countries should have their own sort of arrangements. And I'm not really quite sure what a special trade for one process is, but yeah. So, knowing that KEI is a small organization, do you believe that KEI is an organization that could help shape a better future for internet? If so, what level? Can it make a huge impact, or is it very insignificant impact to how we could view the internet? And we're talking about, as we're talking about a small board group, when it comes to tackling such corporate power such as Microsoft, can there really be this David and this David Goliath battle and really take down such a Goliath's corporate power? Or will they falter against these sort of corporations one day and basically get killed or disbanded because they bit off more than they can chew or something? Or is it something that shouldn't really be a worry or concern of in general? Because what really can corporations do, such as groups, such as NGOs, you know, very difficult to sort of actions that they could take. Um, I guess if you guys have ideas of what kind of actions that corporations and Microsoft can take on NGOs such as KEI, that would be a good questions too. Okay, I guess that's it.